I go by Rooster. I'm here.
Why is that?
I can't tell you that.
Yeah,
That's
strange.
Well, I scratch around a lot, peg for stuff. It happens.
Right, okay. Yeah. Sorry
It's just a natural thing. It's
It's a
awkward
tick.
sometimes.
I'm sorry to point that out, or if there's a sensitive issue. Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah. It's a name I got about, let's see here, 5 years ago as a result of the Mohawk. So,
okay.
so yeah. I mean, I know you didn't see that coming, but the
You're the
Mohawk-
guy with the mohawk at CPAC. Oh, right. Okay.
Dude, there's at least a dozen of us here. At least two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what brings you to CPAC?
Well, I'm a conservative individual, actually. Contrary to my appearance, I hold a lot of conservative ideals, especially fiscal conservative. So,
How is that contrary?
well, most people make the reasonable assumption, well, they think it's reasonable, that I'm liberal just based solely upon my appearance.
Are you saying that like liberals try to do crazy things to get attention and just try to be flashy and like play on emotional appeals in order to convince people that they're right?
No, not at all. I'm saying liberals try to do things that are flashy to generate emotional appeal to, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. But you're a conservative, so what's it been like, and what's your experience here? What are you getting out of being at CPAC?
Well, you know what? It's been a lot of fun for me. I get a lot of real positive feedback from individuals. I mean, some of it I don't know if it's really deserved because they're like, "Hey, you're diversity." I'm like, "Hey, I'm
Hair diversity?
right, yeah." Like, "Hey, I'm another white guy. Watch out." But
The conservative movement will take any diversity they can get at this point, I think.
I think generally speaking that's correct. Yeah. And so I mean, I embrace it. I mean, I've had fun with it. I've had the same haircut for 8 years now. So
Must get boring.
no, you can change the flavor up a little bit. I've got green and orange for patties. So yeah. So, but no, here's been great. I mean, of course, you still have some of the older conservatives who give me those kind of crappy looks, like "What in the hell's wrong with you?" But for the most part, it's been generally positive, and it's garnered a lot of fun attention. I've done several interviews and stuff as a result of it. So,
How cliche of me.
like I said, I just embrace it. It's good. But I mean, it's been interesting because it allows me to bring kind of issues that I feel are important. It allows me to talk about them on camera with people who don't necessarily have that other opportunity to see it, and it's better received coming from me than from some generic 60-year-old white man.
Like you're going to turn into someday.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And your hair's going to go white, and then
I'm
you're
just
going to
happy
look
I made
like
it 30.
McCain, right?
I don't know if I'll look like McCain. I'll probably just shave it at that point. But
Have the dignity. I understand. Okay. So what does it mean to be a conservative to you?
to me, I mean, I feel like it means being fiscally responsible is one of my biggest issues. Just this unsustainable debt that we're accruing, running $1 trillion deficits annually is just absolutely absurd. So I feel like as a fiscal conservative, we need to definitely trim that down. I also believe in states' rights. The 10th Amendment is a very important thing to me. And so I feel like the federal government has far outgrown its intended purpose.
Wait, so you're a collectivist. You believe states have rights as opposed to individuals have rights?
Oh, no, I believe in individual rights, but I believe that the states are more accountable to their citizenry.
Well, if you have a state government that's elected, right, you're saying that an individual doesn't have a right to live in their home free of the coercion of the majority there who votes for a politician that they might disagree with. So it sounds like a very anti-minority collectivist idea that a state has a right. If anything, if a state is created by the people, it doesn't have any rights that the people don't have. And if you own yourself and I own myself, and I don't have the right to violate your self ownership, I don't have a right to steal your property. Why is it that when a state is formed and a majority elects a government to hire tax collectors in order to fund the state, that then they can violate your rights? It sounds like it's a little bit of a contradiction there.
Well, but you're taking what I'm saying and pushing it to the extreme, which honestly, if people elect people that are going to take away their rights, they deserve to have their rights taken away. What we need to
No, I'm talking about the minority. So, like, say 51% vote to take away the rights of 49%. You're in under the system that you're advocating, where states have rights. 49% is just kind of screwed.
Well, I mean, if they're legitimately taking away citizens' rights, they can also take that to the court and combat that.
So it's okay to take away someone's rights if they can complain in court about it. How's that working today?
I think you just completely twisted that because that's not what I said.
You said if someone's rights are violated, we get to go to court, right? But that court is run by government. So if the government is violating your rights, you know how it works.
But it's a checks
I mean,
and balances
even
thing. That's why the courts exist. I mean, legislative, executive, and judicial branches are independent of one another.
but it's all based on the premise that the majority gets to create this system by being the majority through an electoral process, and the minority just has to go along with it.
So I mean, the recent soda ban in New York just got overturned by the court because it was absolutely a terrible decision to do. It took away rights, fought it in court, got it repealed. It doesn't exist anymore. Right. Same sort of principle at the state level. If the state does something that's absurd and it removes rights from citizens, then it's up to the citizens to take it to the courts, or up to the courts to decide that that is a right of the individual, and the state needs to back off.
Why can't we just start by respecting the rights of individuals and not have this democracy concept where majority rules?
Then how do you accomplish anything through government if you don't have a government?
Well, we don't accomplish it through government. That's the point. We accomplish it through the market, through free markets, through freedom, through people interacting peacefully. I mean, doesn't that sound like a better option than having the coercive monopoly of government in charge?
The free market is definitely very important, and I'm a firm proponent of the free market.
You sure?
Yes, I assure you.
But not for courts, not for police forces, and not for all the things that you think are functions of the state.
No, I see. You're taking what I'm saying and immediately pushing it to the extreme. Did I say that I'm not for free market intervention or free market activity in those arenas?
Well, you said that there should be a
government. I said that the state government needs to exist. There needs to be something to handle. I mean, they've got to enforce contracts. They've got to do that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm
saying I'd rather have the market do those things. Why can't we have the market do those things?
The market wasn't designed to enforce contracts. The state enforces.
The market's not designed. The market is the product of all the free voluntary interactions of people interacting in free capitalistic relations because they believe it's in their own self-interest when they exercise that right to voluntary association.
Right, correct. But the government exists in order to allow people to interact with one another on a fair level. Like that is the primary purpose of the government is to enforce contracts to provide for the common defense. Primary purpose of the government.
So you believe in a system that violates the rights of the minority, and maybe they have a redress through some form, but that allows them to be taxed to support this system because you think it's necessary for services that you don't think the market can provide.
The services you just spoke of earlier, I said the market could provide. I didn't say they couldn't provide. I said what the government needs to do is accommodate the market in a manner that allows the market to operate in a manner that is enforceable. Like contractual enforcement needs to occur.
Right, but we could do that through the market, and when the government takes on a monopoly on that and says we're going to tax people to support our services, or like public safety through the police force, we end up with all the consequences of big government. And if instead we relied on individual rights and in the libertarian sense, in the self-ownership sense, in a philosophical sense, and in a true belief in freedom, we wouldn't have all these negative consequences. And I think as a conservative, a lot of conservatives now are seeing that being more philosophically consistent will actually lead to more freedom.
Right, but that doesn't. I still disagree with the fact that you think that the state doesn't need to be there to enforce contracts. That is the basic premise of government. It's to enforce contracts.
Yeah, see, this is where I disagree. I think you don't have to violate people's rights in order to provide the service of contract enforcement. I think if we had, like we are actually starting to see in the free market anyways, with mandatory arbitration or arbitration units, but the reason most people honor their contracts isn't because the government is going to, lock them in a cage if they violate a contract or sanction them or steal from them in a form of a fine. It's because the market dictates that if you want to be a good market actor and you want the next contract, you got to honor the previous one. So I think that's a much better check. And if anything, those peaceful, freedom-based interactions are better than the coercive ones that conservatives support in government. But I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Rooster.
Yeah.
What is government? Thank you. I guess that's that.
And you know what? You're living in America right now, and you're not free.
It means that we need to have a different philosophy.
Why do they hate us?
We need to.